Picture this. You're driving home from work, completely relaxed, completely confident you know the rules of the road, and then a letter shows up. A fine, penalty points, for something you didn't even know was against the law anymore. Sounds scary, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening to thousands of UK drivers right now in 2026, and if you don't know about these changes, you could be next. So stick with me for the next few minutes, because I'm about to break down every single new driving rule that's hitting Britain's roads this year, what it means for your license, your wallet, and your daily commute. Let's start with one that's catching almost everyone off guard: seatbelts. You'd think this is the most basic rule in driving, something we've all known since we were kids. Buckle up or pay a fine. Simple. But here's the twist. Under the updated road safety rules rolling out this year, failing to wear a seatbelt isn't just a fine anymore. It's now an endorsable offense, which means penalty points go straight onto your license. We're talking 3 penalty points, up from the old system where, in many cases, drivers got away with just 1 point or sometimes none at all if it was treated as a minor fixed penalty. And here's the part that really matters. If you're driving and your passenger isn't wearing their seatbelt, you, the driver, can be held fully responsible. That's right, someone else forgets to buckle up in the back seat, and it's your license on the line. The fine itself can reach up to £500 if the case ends up in court. So before you pull away from the curb, do a quick seatbelt check. Yourself, your front passenger, anyone in the back. It takes 10 seconds, and it could save you 3 points and a few £100s. Now let's talk about speed cameras, because this is where things get really interesting. For years, drivers have relied on a bit of a buffer, doing 34 in a 30 zone and not really worrying about it. That buffer is shrinking fast. Average speed cameras are being rolled out across far more roads than ever before. And unlike the old single-point cameras you could spot and slow down for, these track your speed continuously over a distance. There's no braking at the last second to dodge a flash. The camera doesn't care about one moment. It cares about your average speed across the whole stretch. On top of that, speed awareness courses, which a lot of drivers used as a get-out-of-points-free card, are becoming much harder to qualify for. The threshold is dropping. Repeat offenders are far more likely to get points instead of a course. And if you've already done a course in the past 3 years, don't expect to be offered another one. My advice? Stop treating speed limits as a suggestion. Use your cruise control on motorways. Pay extra attention in those 20 and 30 mile an hour zones near schools and residential streets, because that's exactly where enforcement is tightening the most. Here's one that's still developing, but you need to know about it now rather than later. The drink driving limit. England and Wales currently allow up to 80 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood. But Scotland has had a stricter limit of 50 milligrams for years. There's a serious push happening right now to bring England and Wales in line with Scotland's tougher standard, and there's even talk of an even stricter limit specifically for new drivers in their first couple of years on the road. Now, this part hasn't been fully written into law yet, but the direction is crystal clear. The government wants this limit lowered, and when it happens, it means even one drink could legally tip you over the edge. My honest advice: don't wait for the law to catch up. If you're driving, the safest number of drinks is 0. Don't gamble your license on milligrams. Let's move on to something that affects literally every driver on the road, whether you've ever had a points or speeding worry in your life or not. Automated number plate recognition cameras, or ANPR, are expanding rapidly across the country. These cameras are getting smarter and more widespread, and they're specifically designed to catch untaxed, uninsured, or untested vehicles almost instantly. If your MOT has lapsed, even by a few days, or your insurance renewal slipped through the cracks, these systems are far more likely to flag you than ever before. And here's the real sting. Driving without a valid MOT or insurance doesn't just risk a fine. It can actually invalidate your entire insurance policy, which means if you're in an accident while uninsured or without a valid MOT, you could be facing costs entirely out of pocket. So do yourself a favor right now, pause this video for 10 seconds, check your MOT date, check your insurance renewal date, and set yourself a reminder. It's the easiest fine you'll ever avoid. Now, if you're over 70 or you've got parents or grandparents who are still driving, this next part is especially important. There's a growing push for mandatory vision checks for older drivers, with some proposals suggesting eyesight assessments every 3 years. Right now, the system largely relies on drivers self-declaring that their eyesight meets the legal standard, which safety campaigners argue is outdated given how common age-related vision changes are. If this becomes law, it won't be optional anymore. It'll be a mandatory part of staying licensed. So if you've got an older relative who's still behind the wheel, it might be worth having that conversation now, before it becomes a legal requirement rather than a personal choice. Let's talk about learner drivers for a second, because the rules around booking driving tests have changed significantly. From this year, only the learner themselves can book and manage their driving test. Driving instructors and third parties can no longer do it on your behalf. On top of that, there's now a strict limit of just 2 changes allowed per test booking. After that, you're looking at a full cancellation and having to rebook from scratch. And if you do need to change your test center, it has to be somewhere close to your original location, not just anywhere convenient. This is all aimed at reducing the massive backlogs that have been building up at test centers, but it does mean learners need to be far more organized and proactive than before. And here's a bonus tip for anyone studying for their theory test right now. New topics have been added covering life-saving skills, things like basic CPR and how to use a defibrillator. So if you're prepping for your theory test, don't just revise the highway code, brush up on basic first aid too, because it could genuinely show up on the exam. If you drive into central London, this next change has probably already hit your wallet. The congestion charge increased from £15 to £18 per day, the first increase since 2020. And if you were relying on the cleaner vehicle discount to drive your electric car into the zone for free, that perk has ended. Electric vehicles now only get a 25% discount, meaning you're paying £13.50 a day instead of nothing, while commercial vans and HGVs get up to 50% off, paying around £9 a day. If you commute into London regularly in an EV, this is a cost you need to factor into your monthly budget right now, not later. And speaking of costs, here's one that's going to hit petrol and diesel drivers especially hard later this year. The 5 pence per liter fuel duty discount that was introduced during the cost of living crisis is set to end in September. Once that discount disappears, expect prices at the pump to creep back up. If you drive a high mileage vehicle for work, now's the time to start thinking about fuel efficient driving habits, or even reconsidering your vehicle choice if fuel costs are eating into your budget more than they used to. If you drive a company car, listen closely, because your tax bill is changing too. Benefit in kind rates for electric company cars are rising from 3% to 4%, and if you're driving a higher emission company vehicle, that rate could climb as high as 37%. It might not sound like a huge jump on paper, but over a full tax year, that difference adds up fast. It's worth having a conversation with your employer or your accountant about how this affects your specific situation, especially if you're due for a company car renewal soon. Now here's one that honestly should worry every single new driver out there. If you've passed your test within the last 2 years, the rules around penalty points are far harsher for you than for experienced drivers. While most drivers face an automatic ban after accumulating 12 points within 3 years, known as the totting up system, new drivers only need to reach 6 points within their first 2 years to have their license automatically revoked, not suspended, revoked. That means starting completely from scratch, reapplying for a provisional license, and sitting both your theory and practical test all over again. A single serious speeding offense, one of those higher band violations, can be enough on its own to push a new driver over that 6-point threshold. If you've recently passed your test, treat every single point like it's your last one, because under this system, it basically is. And finally, keep an eye on the shift toward digital driving licenses. A pilot scheme has already launched, allowing drivers to access their license details through a smartphone wallet app rather than relying solely on the physical card. Your physical license still remains valid for now, but the direction is obvious. The UK is moving toward a fully digital system, and keeping your details updated, your address, your medical conditions, all of it is becoming more important than ever, because outdated information could now lead to fines or complications when these digital systems are cross-checked by enforcement. So look, here's the bottom line. 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most significant years for UK driving law in a long time. Seatbelt points, smarter speed cameras, tighter drink drive limits on the horizon, expanding ANPR enforcement, new costs for EV and company car drivers, and a much tougher landing zone for new drivers. None of this has to catch you off guard. A little awareness goes a long way, and honestly, that's exactly why I make these videos, to keep you one step ahead of the changes before they cost you money or points you can't afford to lose. If this video helped clear things up for you, do me a massive favor and hit that subscribe button right now, because I'm covering every single update to UK driving law as it happens throughout the year, and you do not want to miss the next one. Drop a comment letting me know which of these changes surprised you the most. I read every single one. And if you found this useful, share it with a friend or family member who drives, because honestly, this is the kind of information that can save someone real money and real stress. Thanks so much for watching, drive safe out there, and I will see you in the very next video. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, so you never miss an update again.